Comfort is something we all naturally seek. It's warm, familiar, and feels safe. But let me tell you something I've learned over the years. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Nothing revolutionary, nothing groundbreaking, and certainly nothing world-changing has ever come from staying in the comfort zone. When I think about the biggest accomplishments in my life, starting SpaceX, building Tesla, or even helping lay the groundwork for PayPal, they all had one thing in common. They started with stepping into the unknown. They started with embracing discomfort, risk, and uncertainty. I remember when I first told people I wanted to build rockets and go to Mars, most of them laughed. They thought I was crazy. Rockets? You're not an aerospace engineer, you're a tech guy. But that's the thing, if you wait until you're fully qualified, fully ready, or fully comfortable, you'll never take the first step. Starting SpaceX was like jumping off a cliff and assembling an airplane on the way down. We faced failure after failure. Our first 3 rocket launches, all disasters. Millions of dollars gone. It was heartbreaking, but I had a choice. I could either retreat to the safety of the comfort zone, admit defeat, and stop trying, or I could learn, adapt, and try again. That 4th launch, it worked. And that success only happened because we pushed through the discomfort. Let me ask you this. How many of you are holding back because you're afraid of failure? How many of you are staying in a safe, familiar space because it's easier than taking a risk? Here's the truth about failure. It's not the enemy. Fear of failure is. When you're afraid to fail, you stop trying. You stop taking risks. But failure is the greatest teacher you'll ever have. Every time something doesn't work, it's an opportunity to learn and improve. Think about Tesla. When we started, the idea of electric cars was a joke to most people. Who would buy an electric car? They asked. They're slow, they're ugly, and they don't go far enough. People told me again and again to stick to what I knew, to stay in my lane. But I didn't listen. We pushed forward, even when the odds were stacked against us, even when it would have been easier to give up. Why? Because the goal was worth the discomfort. The dream of a sustainable future, powered by renewable energy, was worth every sleepless night, every setback, and every risk. And here's something I want you to remember. The people who tell you to stay in your comfort zone are usually the ones who never left theirs. They don't see what you see. They don't feel the drive you feel. Don't let their limitations become your limitations. Stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't mean you'll succeed right away. In fact, you'll probably fail repeatedly, but every time you fail, you're moving closer to success. Let me tell you a story about a moment that tasted me like no other. After our 3rd rocket failure at SpaceX, we were down to our last bit of funding. If the 4th launch failed, that would have been the end of SpaceX. Game over. I remember standing there, looking at the rocket on the launch pad, thinking, this is it. Everything I've worked for comes down to this moment. That day, the rocket didn't fail, it worked. And because of that success, we secured a contract with NASA, which allowed us to keep going. If I had stayed in my comfort zone, if I had let fear win, SpaceX wouldn't exist today. Here's the thing about the comfort zone. It's seductive. It whispers, why take risks? Why face rejection? Why fail when you can stay here where it's safe? But life is too short for that. We have one shot at this incredible journey called life, and we owe it to ourselves to make it count. So, how do you step out of your comfort zone? Start small. Take one step toward the thing that scares you. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's taking a course in something you know nothing about. Remember, progress doesn't happen overnight. It's a series of small, uncomfortable steps. And each step builds your confidence, your skills, and your resilience. Here's another thing. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Be around people who inspire you, who push you to think bigger, and who hold you accountable when you feel like giving up. And finally, dream big. Don't let the fear of discomfort shrink your vision. When I talk about going to Mars, people say, why not focus on something easier, something more realistic? But why should we? If we aim for small goals, we'll achieve small results. If we aim for the stars, literally, we open the door to possibilities we never imagined. So, I want you to ask yourself one question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? What would you create, build, or pursue if you knew you couldn't fail? The future belongs to the risk takers, the dreamers, and the people willing to step into the unknown. Don't let the comfort zone rob you of your potential. The world needs your courage, your ideas, and your determination. Push your limits, embrace the discomfort, and as you grow into the person you were always meant to be,